Have you ever wondered why a 5-year-old can become fluent in a new language within months, while you've spent years studying French, Spanish, or Mandarin and still struggle to order a coffee without panicking? What if I told you that your brain has been programmed to learn languages all wrong, and that a Nobel Prize-winning physicist discovered a method that could help you absorb any language up to 9 times faster without a single app or flashcard? This isn't just another language learning hack. It's a complete paradigm shift that explains why you've been hitting the same frustrating wall despite your dedication and hard work. Has this ever happened to you? You're sitting across from a native speaker, attempting to have a conversation in your target language, when suddenly your mind goes completely blank. You know you've memorized this vocabulary before. You've spent countless hours with apps, textbooks, and classes. But in this crucial moment, the words simply vanish. Your brain frantically searches for the translation, bouncing back and forth between languages until the opportunity to speak passes entirely. This mental roadblock isn't your fault. It's the direct result of the translation-based approach that dominates traditional language education. While you've been diligently memorizing vocabulary lists and conjugation tables, you've also been hardwiring your brain with an inefficient process that forces you to translate everything back to your native language before understanding or speaking. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Stay with me until the end, because what Richard Feynman, yes, the legendary physicist, discovered about language acquisition might completely transform your learning journey. His revolutionary insight came from observing how children learn languages so effortlessly while adults struggle despite more disciplined study habits. The secret lies in creating direct neural connections between foreign words and reality itself, bypassing translation entirely. When a child hears the Italian word macchina, they don't mentally convert it to car in English. Instead, they instantly visualize an actual automobile. They see its color, hear its engine, feel the texture of its seats. This direct connection to sensory experience creates powerful neural pathways that make language acquisition not just faster, but fundamentally different. What you're about to discover might surprise you. This method doesn't require more study time or expensive resources. In fact, it often means studying less while learning more. The transformation happens when you stop treating language as a code to be deciphered and start experiencing it as a direct connection to the world around you. Imagine speaking your target language without that awkward mental translation delay, expressing yourself with the same natural flow you enjoy in your native tongue. This isn't just about learning faster, it's about rewiring how your brain processes language at its most fundamental level. This mental rewiring leads to a hidden truth about language acquisition that transformed my entire mindset. You see, most learners fall into the trap of passive consumption. Listening to podcasts while commuting, scrolling through language apps before bed, or reading foreign texts without engagement. There's an illusion of progress because your brain convinces you that recognition equals mastery. But here's the revelation that changes everything. Your understanding completely transforms the moment you try to explain what you've learned out loud. This verbalization journey creates a profound cognitive shift that most language courses never address. When you attempt to teach a concept, even if it's just to yourself in an empty room, your brain suddenly has nowhere to hide. Those comfortable gaps in your knowledge that remained invisible during passive learning suddenly become glaringly obvious. This isn't just a small adjustment to your routine, it's a fundamental recalibration of how you process information. If you're passionate about learning languages more effectively, Hit that subscribe button to join our community of language learners using these brain-friendly methods. By speaking aloud, you're not simply reviewing material. You're actively reconstructing neural pathways, forcing your mind to organize scattered vocabulary and grammar into coherent, usable patterns. This simple practice multiplies retention dramatically compared to the passive approaches most learners rely on. The impact on your language journey is immediate and undeniable. But there's another critical element that affects everything about your progress: the quality of your concentration during practice sessions. Most language learners create a fragmented learning environment, studying with notifications buzzing, social media tabs open, or television playing in the background. They might log hours of study time while making minimal progress because their attention never fully engages with the material. The decision to structure your learning differently creates remarkable results. Instead of marathon sessions with divided attention, break your study into focused 30-minute immersion blocks followed by 10-minute breaks. During these concentrated periods, eliminate every possible distraction. Put your phone in another room, close unnecessary browser tabs, and create a dedicated learning space. This approach perfectly aligns with how your brain naturally processes and consolidates information. The intense focus activates deep learning pathways, while the strategic breaks allow your mind to cement what you've absorbed. You'll discover that 1 hour of this deliberate practice delivers better results than several hours of distracted learning. What's fascinating about this method is how it creates a virtuous cycle of improvement. As your concentration muscle strengthens, your ability to visualize and connect words directly to experiences improves dramatically. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because there's a fundamental revelation about how our brains actually work that most language courses completely miss. The traditional education system has programmed us to believe that memorization is the path to mastery. But evolution crafted our minds for something entirely different. Write in the comments, "I'm breaking the translation habit," if you're ready to transform how you approach language learning using these powerful cognitive principles. Despite what conventional education has taught us, your brain isn't designed as a storage box for disconnected vocabulary lists. Evolution crafted our minds to create meaning through rich sensory experiences, a blueprint for learning that the Feynman approach leverages perfectly. This revelation completely transforms the journey from struggle to fluency. When you encounter the Spanish word manzana, the traditional approach tells you to memorize that manzana means apple and repeat it until it sticks. But this method fights against your brain's natural architecture. Instead, picture a vibrant red apple in vivid detail. Imagine its weight resting in your palm. Visualize biting into its crisp flesh and taste that perfect balance of sweetness and tartness. Feel the juice running down your chin. Smell its fresh, distinctive aroma. By creating this multi-sensory experience, you're engaging neural networks that are vastly more powerful than those used for rote memorization. Each sense you involve creates additional pathways to retrieve that word, anchoring it in your experiential memory. This is why you can instantly recall the smell of your childhood home, or the taste of your favorite food decades later. Sensory experiences create deep, lasting impressions that words alone never could. The beauty of this approach is how it aligns with your mind's inherent strengths rather than working against them. It's not about forcing yourself to study harder through sheer willpower. It's about studying smarter by leveraging the way your brain naturally processes and retains information. This represents a complete paradigm shift in language acquisition. The full Feynman method brings together everything we've discussed into one integrated system that creates a powerful feedback loop. You structure your learning into short, intensely focused blocks of 30 minutes, eliminating all distractions and immersing yourself completely in the language. During these sessions, you connect words directly to vivid sensory experiences rather than translations, creating rich, multi-sensory associations for each concept you encounter. Finally, you solidify your understanding by explaining what you've learned out loud, either to yourself or to an imaginary student. This verbalization process forces your brain to organize information into coherent patterns that you can access fluently. The impact of implementing all three elements together creates a transformation that's far greater than using any technique in isolation. This integrated approach doesn't just help you learn faster, it fundamentally changes your relationship with the language. You begin to think in your target language rather than constantly translating, opening doorways to cultural nuances and expressions that were previously inaccessible. The decision to learn this way creates a completely different experience than the frustrating slog most language learners endure. Write in the comments, "Visualization is my new superpower," if you're excited to try this sensory-rich approach to language acquisition that works with your brain instead of against it. So, there you have it. A complete reimagining of how to approach language learning, inspired by one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. What makes this method so powerful is that it works regardless of your age, background, or previous experience with languages. It simply aligns with how your brain naturally processes information rather than fighting against it. I'd love to have you join our community of language learners and critical thinkers who are breaking free from traditional methods and experiencing remarkable transformations in their language journeys. Hit subscribe and you'll get access to weekly videos where I break down complex learning concepts into practical, actionable strategies just like this one. I'm genuinely curious which of these techniques resonated most with you. Drop a comment saying, "My brain was made for this," if you made it all the way through and are excited to implement these methods in your own language journey. Your insights and experiences often inspire future videos, so I always look forward to reading what you share. If this approach has shifted your perspective even slightly, that like button is a small way to let me know this content was helpful to you. It also helps others discover these ideas who might be struggling with the same language learning challenges you've overcome. And if you're ready to take this even further, I've created a video right here that reveals the optimal daily schedule for language learning using these exact principles. Click and continue with me over there to discover how to structure your practice for maximum results with minimum time investment. I'll see you in the next one.